This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome, everybody, to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today, we have a lovely neighbor on with us, and that is Hannah McEdwards of the Cooperators. How are you, hon?
I'm very good, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing very good, minus the sun not shining. I mean, yesterday we got super lucky with that weather back to back. Mother's Day, a lot of fun. I spent some time with my mom, played a little ring toss, did a little backyard pizza. We have built one of those kind of pizza ovens,
Yeah,
fire bricks. So I was just covered head to toe in flour and sauce. But we had a lot of fun, so no complaints.
well, that's the way to do it, because I ended up playing golf in the rain yesterday. We were soaked. We were just drenched.
You in like a ladies' league, or you're just
Yeah. No, it's a ladies' league. We play at Shanty Bay, and let's just say the thunder started rolling in around the seventh hole, and it was like, "Are you kidding me?" And that was it.
I've been in a couple pretty crazy windstorms or rainstorms on that golf course. I was in that men's league for like 6 years.
Oh, it's a great course.
Yeah. They did a lot with it. The new ownership took over after. How's that been?
They've been there, I think, 2.5, maybe 3 years now.
Yeah.
It's been great. No complaints.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prior ownership, it was more like a hobby style. Not to say anything negative about the owners; they're great people, but not as organized as we probably would have liked it. So we ended up bailing out of that. Ended up finding a wonderful group of gentlemen and a different style of golf too. So I could talk about that all day. So we'll save that for. I know one of the questions that I'm going to ask later. I know you, a wonderful person. Had the chance to build a bit of a friendship with you. So super happy to have you on the show, let you tell your story. And so why don't we dive right into it? Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, I am an agent for Cooperators here in Barrie. We have been bounced around quite a bit for the past 7 months. We have found a temporary permanent home, if you want to call it that, at 14 Cedar Point Drive. We have moved in with the claims office. So we're the only agency here in the claims office. And myself and my staff, we take turns, we rotate through, we're here as needed sort of idea. And this will be probably our home for the next possibly 2 years. We'll see how this goes.
You are a stone throw from my house. I'm just up at the top of the hill. Yeah, I could literally roll down the hill and be right there at your place of business. Very cool. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit more. What is the Cooperators? What do you specialize in? If I'm somebody listening to the show, I need a little bit more. I need to understand a little bit more.
Well, Cooperators, everybody knows us for our home and auto insurance. And obviously, we're very good at our home and auto insurance, but a lot of people don't realize we actually specialize in commercial and farm insurance, which is desperately needed in this day and age. We also do financial planning, financial services. So there's actually 3 companies to the Cooperators. There's a Cooperators General Insurance, which does home, auto, commercial, and farm. And then there's Cooperators Life Insurance, which obviously is pretty self-explanatory, does life. And then and disability and, critical illness. But there's also Cooperators Financial Investment Services, which does full-on financial planning, financial advising. We can do pretty much everything a bank can do, minus checking, savings accounts, and mortgages at this time. So there's a lot of things that are changing within the Cooperators framework. So it's a very, very hands-on type of advising sort of business versus buy a product, that's it, we never see you again. We're very, very hands-on here.
And when you mean hands-on, what do you mean by that?
Well, I will meet with my clients in person. We will review. We will make sure everything's up to date. We will continue that sort of relationship going on. I've become friends with a lot of my clients. I actually golf with 3 of them. Sidebar. There's a lot of things we do a little bit differently in that we spend more time with our clients to learn more about their needs versus just the product that they are looking for.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of that, and you've been kind of through the cycle with me and stuff like that. Like you, I'm friends with a lot of my clients, and I like to prefer doing things in person. I'm a big believer in that. Zoom has its place for certain things, but that human connection, that interaction, this kind of conversation would be better in person. But for the time being, we have to do what we need to do. But absolutely love the fact that you are a lot hands-on with your clients. The more you can get to know somebody, the more you can get to know their needs. It's a no-brainer to be able to say to somebody.
Yeah, that's basically it. How am I supposed to know what you need unless I know your situation? Like, we could be having a conversation just like this, and all of a sudden you mention something, and it's like, hey, wait a second, I need to adjust accordingly. The 90% of my business is listening. So just listening to my clients, listening to their families, listening to their needs, listening to them complain. There's lots of listening going on. I try not to overstep as much as humanly possible. And, some people don't like that. Some people want I want my home auto. That's it. Don't talk to me about anything else. And if that's what you need, that's what you need. And that's where we sit with you.
So you mentioned to me a few minutes back that the farm insurance was something that was really needed. Why did you say that? Is there some horror stories that coming across on some of this stuff?
Yeah. I can't get into them, but I have come across some farming packages where it's like, are you serious? They're not covered for proper liability. They're not covered for their produce, their product. They're not covered for animals, and these are things that you have to think about, because you don't want a farmer and then have his horse jump a fence and cause a car accident and find out, wait a second, I don't have insurance for this horse. What's going to happen here? What's going to cause this? Other things, people don't realize that they should maybe separate their personal lives from their farms, if at all possible. Set up maybe an incorporation or something like that to keep their farms at arm's length, as in to protect their farms for their future families. This all comes into part of the planning process, part of learning, okay, if I do ABC later on, it's going to take care of XYZ. It's setting up a course of action to take care of these families, these businesses, these people from start to finish, and making sure that they're well taken care of and don't pay as much tax as humanly possible. But that's getting into other stuff.
Yeah, no.
So sure. I could talk about this stuff all day.
As you're saying, a much needed review. So if you're a farmer and you're listening, call Hannah and review. It's probably a smart idea. So I love asking this question because it's pretty unique to people. Everybody has a different approach, a different journey to getting into what they're doing. Some people, it's more on the rare side where they kind of started off doing what they're doing. They always knew what they're doing. And for a lot of people, I like to call it the Mazda commercial, where you're just zooming back and forth, and then they finally end up finding their passion, and sometimes a little bit later in life. And so I'm curious to ask yours. What has your journey been like leading up to doing what you're doing today?
You got longer than 15 minutes?
Yep.
Just wondering. Okay. So basically, I have a degree in architecture and history from Carleton University, and I started out as an architectural historian and worked with National Geographic and traveled all over the world and visited phenomenal places, doing a bunch of incredible things. And then in 2001, we all know what happened in the Middle East. I decided I did not want to take my family back into that, so I opted to move to the design side. And I worked as a interior designer slash kitchen designer for almost 17 years in total. Doing this like sort of on and off. I traveled with Home Hardware, setting up stores. I worked with Home Depot, setting up their kitchen and flooring departments. I've worked all over the place. And then in 2012, I was unfortunately diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And I was 34 years old. So it was rather a shock. 3 kids under the age of 12, mortgage, bills, and both my husband and I being technically self-employed, there was really nothing for us. There wasn't EI, there wasn't anything really to help us get through what we were going through. We went through our savings, we went through our kids' college funds. My drugs were $4,000 every 2 weeks.
Crazy.
There was no coverage. There was nothing. And a very, very dear friend of mine, God love him to bits for doing this. He said, Hannah, your story can help so many people. Why don't you come and do this with me? And he's a financial advisor with a competitor. It's better not to work with your friends sometimes. And we found that out. And that's why we're still friends. So he got me into the business. And I worked with that company for 2 years. They got me up in training and, doing all that sort of stuff. And then my very best friend in the entire world, she's been my best friend since we were 5 years old. She works for the cooperators. And she said, hey, there's a position at this office coming up available. You should apply for it. I'm going to put you in touch with the district manager. And that's how my journey with cooperators started, which was 8 years ago on Friday. Oh, and wow. They hired me on my 39th birthday. So there was quite a meandering of finding this location. But I've been with Co-op now 8 years. I've been the agent, I should say, of this office for the past 2.5. And I have no plans of moving along because I found a company that supports their employees, also supports the growth of their employees and their education of their employees. Not just like, here, figure it out. They support you all along the way. So for myself, I'm getting the CFP designation and the CLU designation, Certified Financial Planner and Chartered Life Underwriter. And Cooperators has supported me in this for the past 4 years because it's not an easy thing to do, especially after having cancer, 3 kids, a husband of 25 years. It's a lot to take on.
Yeah, there's not a lot of companies that support in that way. They seem to be a little bit more rare. So happy that you had an opportunity to be able to find one of the good ones.
Yeah, and Cooperator's been around for over 75 years now. 1949, so 75 years. And they've just grown exponentially. They're one of the top employers in Canada. They're one of the top insurance providers. They are amalgamating and working with other industries to create products that are more with today's times, going more onto the digital side, the AI side. There's like so many working components right now. So I feel Cooperators is positioning themselves to just take off.
Yeah, it's I'm curious to ask you if there's any kind of like myths or misconceptions that you hear from customers on a weekly basis, monthly basis?
Yes. Yes. There's so many. My favorite one is, you're not going to pay my claim. That is the best one I hear, like on a weekly basis. Like, why do I need this? You're not going to pay my claim. Well, let me tell you about the gentleman who unfortunately had a fatal car accident, and we ended up paying out a $20 million claim. So this is why you have it. When you're diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer at 34, this is why you have insurance. Because as good as our healthcare systems are, they don't cover everything. You know, like if I had passed away, my kids would have been definitely, pardon my language, screwed, right? Because we had nothing. We had nothing. So insurance is an evil necessity. It's one of those things that, yeah, you're putting money aside. You're paying for something you can't physically see or touch or, handle. You're paying for something that, in theory, is protecting you against the what if. And it's the what if that always gets us. It's the what if such and such happens down the road, what's going to happen to us? That's what we're protecting against. Yeah, that's probably the only way I can really explain it.
Yeah, people have a hard time wrapping their head around something like that because it's not tangible. The world that we live in is a very instant gratification. They wanted their pizza yesterday, right?
Yep.
Stuff. So totally get it, but it's better to have peace of mind and to be protected than not be protected. I almost compare it to like your car vehicle. Every time you gotta like take it in, people always feel like they shouldn't have to spend money on their vehicle, or when it comes time to properly servicing it, like the maintenance, because they can't see what is being done to the inside or don't understand. And because it's not set up where, when you're going to the dentist's office, you can see through the mirror and you can see in your mouth and you can see them scraping around in there. You can kind of see what's going on. So like, oh, I need to do this every 6 months. But when you go to the car dealership, you can't see. They're just in the back doing whatever. And then you're like, here's the bill. And you're just like, well, why do I have to pay this? It's that unknown, right?
Well, yeah. And it's the exact same with the insurance industry. We're not all horrible, evil people. Okay. I swear to God, I'm actually a nice person. I try to make things lighthearted because, we deal with death and destruction every day. It's a very heavy, very stressful industry. But when the what if does happen, I like being able to say, don't worry, I got you. And we take care of them. We take care of them as best as we humanly can. Yes, there's always going to be those ones that we decline, but that's why you've got to be as honest and straightforward as possible. And when we say we need to review your policy, you review it just to make sure. It's 15 minutes out of your day. It's 15 minutes out of your year. That's all it is.
Yeah, for peace of mind. I mean, definitely worth the time.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's switch gears here. Talked a lot about business and helping people and educating people on some of this stuff. And so I like to call that working on or in the business. And so when you're not doing that business aside and you get some free time, what do you like to do for fun?
I'm sorry, what's free time? Could you explain that a little bit better?
Well, when you leave the doors of your place of work, let's put it that way.
Well, I do golf. It's just Monday night ladies league. Love it. It's a definite stress reliever. I actually play the trumpet.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I've played the trumpet since I was 8 years old. So I'll whip that thing out periodically. 3 grandbabies. Just had another granddaughter Easter Sunday. So I'm a little biased. Yeah, she's adorable. Not to mention my grandson is absolutely the most handsome person in the world. Sorry, Sean. And let's see here. I mean, me and my husband, we live in Wasaga Beach. We spend a lot of time in Georgian Bay on our boat. That's our relaxation. That's our go-to. But I do have 3 adult children, and I enjoy spending a lot of time with them because they're a lot of fun. My youngest, actually, we're just heading out to Ottawa very soon to celebrate my youngest getting her honors degree in forensic psychology.
Whoa.
So yeah, she's weird. She scares the living beep out of me. But she's weird. But anyways, yeah, and we camp and I'm very outdoorsy, actually. I'm starting to realize I'm a lot more outdoorsy than I thought I was.
Yeah, we're big outdoors people ourselves. Every long weekend we're camping except for the Civic long weekend. Yeah. So this week, and it's really busy with Julie being a business owner and owning her own flower shop, and me as a business owner. Lots of podcasting, lots of meeting with clients and existing clients and all this stuff. We're trying to find the time to organize and plan. We still have to plan the rest of the meals that we need to bring up. I brought some stuff over to my parents' house yesterday to shove into the camper and do all that. But once you get up there, we're coming back on the Tuesday because long weekend traffic, definitely no. But get the chance to be out there and disconnect from the phone. I'm sure you guys do that when you're out on the boat as well too. You get that serenity where you can enjoy the moment as it is, and be out there in nature. It's beautiful, beautiful thing.
Exactly. So where are you going up north? I got to ask.
Yeah, so we're going up to Three Corner Lake. It's an hour and a half north of Sudbury.
You're going way north.
Yeah, about 5 with stops. It's about a 5-hour drive.
Well, I guess that's not too, because we're going up to Windy Lake in June, which is kind of 40 minutes north of Sudbury.
Yeah, that's not bad. I was at Fairbanks Lake, which is about 30 minutes north of Sudbury last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Mm-hmm. The weekend before Mother's Day. So yeah, it's starting to become a popular spot, but really nice up there. Fishing's good. We like to fish as well too. So I'll be able to get to do a lot of that. And there's a bunch of other families that are coming up for that weekend. So they have this little little nook that they pull off on, and you could fit, I don't know, like 8 campers on there. So you should have like 8 families, nice big fire pit in the middle, stuff like that. And so you enjoy each other for 4 or 5 days. I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, sometimes you got to shut it off. Like, just unplug, shut it off, and forget everything else. At least for, a couple of days here and there. Because if you don't, you'll drink a lot heavier than we do already. Yeah. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, having a harmony to it. Jeff taught me this one. I was calling it a balance, and he's like, well, how can you have balance? Balance means it's perfect, and we clearly work more than we don't. So having a harmony between the two is super important. And I definitely recognize when I dial that in and have that harmony, I'm like way more effective when I'm out and about doing my thing. Got to have a little bit of fun.
100%.
Can't have your hands handcuffed to only one thing. Be able to do a lot of different things. It's important.
Yeah, exactly. It's very important to be able to shut the laptop and walk away. That's just a given. And you know what? It's funny. Past couple of years, I've been working so hard, just go, like get to the point I am now where I'm an agent of an office. I have employees. I have lots of different stuff going on. But then all of a sudden my grandkids show up. And it's like, screw it. I'm here for these guys right now.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard to believe I have 3 grandbabies and I'm 28. It's
hard to believe, eh?
Hard to believe. If anybody asks, I'm 28, have been for years.
Love it. 28 on the inside for sure.
Yeah.
So do they pawn them off on you? You find you're doing a lot of babysitting these days, or?
No. No, my daughter is a very, very hands-on mother. So we get the grandson. He is 20 months now, almost 20 months. And we'll get him a little more often. But the newborn, she was a 6-week preemie. She's very protective of our little Evelyn. So
Evelyn, nice name.
Evelyn, Michael and Evelyn.
Oh,
the new one, my daughter-in-law, she's due in August. We don't know what the name is yet. They're very, very tight-lipped.
Okay.
About what the name's going to be.
Always love a surprise.
Yeah, definitely.
So you touched on this a little bit. I'm assuming this is what it's going to be already with being diagnosed with breast cancer. It's a question that we ask on the show, and like I said before, I mean, you can dive as deep as you want. Don't feel pressured to go any deeper than you don't feel comfortable, but it's something that embodies what I said before about kind of removing some of those barriers that people carry with each other and having a little bit of vulnerability or an openness or a willingness to kind of talk about some of this stuff. We had a charity on not too long ago. I had the privilege of being showcased on Rogers TV, and during our interview, I mentioned that she had somebody reach out who listened to her podcast. She had gone, I think, 25 years and then suddenly got kind of let go. And so the hardship of kind of dealing with that person actually related so much, actually reached out just to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
I thought was pretty fascinating. So, in life, we don't get to necessarily pick and choose when life throws itself in the way. It pushes and pulls us. It creates obstacles and barriers. And so wanted to ask you if you've ever experienced something like that. And, how did you overcome that? And, what kind of silver linings did you take from that?
Oh, that's a tough one. I've done a lot of public speaking, a lot of interviews about my journey with breast cancer. I say BC, before breast cancer. I was an introvert. I didn't talk to people. I wasn't outgoing. I was very much homebody, didn't really do a whole lot. I wasn't the outspoken person I am today.
I would have never believed you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's funny. My husband, he's amazed at the 180 that occurred. I say breast cancer was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Not so much in what I went through, because I've had over 15 surgeries now.
Wow.
I've had bilateral mastectomy, hysterectomy. I had a portion of my liver removed. I had just last June, I'm coming up on 1 year, I had to have a disc removed in my spine due to the cancer. So it's just been an ongoing sort of thing. But it really let me know how strong I am, how important I am to my family, and how much, gets me every time, how much my husband loves me. Because I see these women or families where they're diagnosed with something like this, and the spouse takes off. I can't handle this. I'm out of here. And I'm so incredibly fortunate that my husband never left my side. Not once. He held my hand the entire time. He still does every day. He's just like, whatever you need, just go do it. And it's a give and take. I do the same for him. But it really opened my eyes that life is way too short to be taken seriously. Take the trip, buy the shoes, eat the cake, all those things. Just do it. What's going to happen? Nothing. You can always make more money. Why are you worried about going on that vacation? You can always move along. You can always do more stuff. But are you ever going to get I could have lost the last 12 years. Let's put it that way. I could have lost those last 12 years and not been able to watch my kids graduate high school and then university, get married, have babies. It was probably the most eye-opening And one of the turning points in my life where I said, you know what, screw you, I'm going to do it my way. And I have. I've completely turned it around. I'm not following the status quo. I am not just sitting here feeling sorry for myself, because I am still stage 4. I am still in active treatment. It's, touch wood, very stable. I can go like this until I'm 95. I'm fine with that. But if it should ever rear its ugly head again, I know I'm ready for it. And I'm ready to go. So I've had people approach me and say, I don't know how you can be so positive about this. It's destroyed my life. It's destroyed my marriage. And for some women and men and families, it is like that. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the end. Don't give up. Pull up your socks and let's go.
Yeah, it's the power of mindset. It's incredible on how you take your viewpoint on particular things, especially something traumatic like that. To be able to look at overcoming that and not giving another option does absolute wonders for all of that other crazy scientific stuff, and it all works together, right? To help kind of move forward from something like that, and generally speaking, make you more happy, or as happy as possible, I should say, rather be a better choice of words, because like you said, there's other people that didn't have that true partnership. I'd say you have that, a solid bond between another human being, a good friendship that ties you together, and then the love and all of that other stuff that comes along with that, and be able to overcome that. So commend you for having the right attitude, and wonderful human being, and thank you very much for sharing that story with us.
Oh, I'm passionate about it. I really am. And I've got some incredible friends that when I say, let's dress up in inflatable costumes and go hang off the side of the CN Tower, we go do it. Nice. If you see a bunch of unicorns and dinosaurs and Mr. Potato Head walking down the street one day, chances are it's me in one of those costumes.
I love it.
Yeah, because why not?
Yeah, I've been taught, I continually am being taught from my significant other, and she had her show. She talked about the same thing as well. And when something like that happens, like you mentioned, you look at life through a different lens. And so I'm constantly, watching, picking up little hints, reminding myself about some of this stuff, and try to live in the moment, because you never know when something can happen, and try to live it to the fullest extent. It's hard to do that if you haven't had that happen to you, but being with somebody where it has, it certainly helps from that perspective.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Even my husband now, not even just my husband, my kids, nothing's stopping them. When they have an opportunity, and if it's going to cost a lot of money, or, some of those barriers that sort of pop up, they figure it out. They're like, I can't give up this opportunity. I can't give up this position I'm in. So let's just figure it out. And when you're only given that choice, it makes all the other decisions a whole lot easier.
Oh yeah. 100%. What's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
We're people. We're not machines. We have feelings. We're intelligent. We're highly educated. And we're people. We're not here to be just machines writing policies. We're here to assist you and guide you and make sure you are better taken care of.
Well said. Was really looking forward to I knew I was going to get you on here one day and finally be able to have a chance to let you tell your story. Great human being, great story, a great business. You do a fantastic job, great sense of humor. For the record, for those who are listening, so I meet this woman for the first time, and I come in to do a little presentation in her office, and she whips out her laptop and she shows me this screaming squirrel that screams at the top of its lungs, all these different animals. Such a corny, quirky sense of humor thing. I don't even know her yet. And I absolutely laughed my ass off. We instantly connected and had our friendship ever since. So just a little sliver, a little nugget for you. She's a really funny person and would definitely take care of you if you give her an opportunity to do so. So
I forgot about Alan. Alan.
Amazing stuff. Thank you again for coming on the show and doing this, and looking forward to potentially doing this down the line.
Thank you so much, Sean. Pleasure as always.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.